thank you for coming back and joining me again. This time we are going to discuss a few things that I think are common misconceptions for people regarding yoga. Last couple of sessions, videos, we spoke about our yoga breathing. We talked about our resting poses in yoga. And now I want to talk about some of the things that prevent people from thinking that yoga is for them. Based on personal experience and the things that I've seen and heard throughout my time in classes as a student and an instructor. I think that one of the biggest misconceptions that people have about yoga is that you have to be or look a certain way in order to do yoga. I myself have self-doubts continually about my appearance and what people are going to think. I'm not, fit and trim. They're going to look at me and think, what's she doing? So I want to just dispel some of that for some of you and encourage you that, encourage you to just really try and put those thoughts aside. As hard as it can be sometimes, we have to, think about what our goal is, what we want to accomplish by what we're beginning. And I knew that, thankfully I had my best friend as an instructor. She is the one that encouraged me to come to classes, and I did so in order to support her. And in doing that, I came to find that I really benefited from yoga, that I enjoyed it. It helped me not just physically, but mentally as well. There were a lot of physical ailments that, body aches and pains and things that I was never ever able to get rid of. And by practicing yoga, it was the only thing that alleviated some of those physical problems for me. I've never been a particular body type, of that thin, trim, type that you see on TV, that I think that people have this idea that that's what a person who practices yoga is supposed to look like. So, obviously that's not me. So I think that, speaking for the big girls, I am here to tell you that you don't have to be that body type in order to do yoga. It is about practice. It's about coming in with an open mind, with a positive attitude, and knowing that, maybe you have goals. Yes, it can help with weight loss, but it also helps with strength. It helps with flexibility. It helps with mental acuity. It helps with relieving stress. So there are many benefits that you get from yoga. And you can get them no matter what body type you are. So as far as strength and flexibility, that's another thing that I think people come into this thinking that you have to be so strong. Well, you'll develop that strength, and maybe you won't. There are things that I'm never probably going to be able to do with yoga just because it's not where I excel. And I've, never had very great upper body strength, so I work hard at things that involve the upper body. I cannot stand sun salutations. I don't like them, but they are an absolute must in yoga. So I have to do them. And no, I'm not going to ever really probably be able to chaturanga or do a yoga push-up in the way that maybe my instructor can do them. But I strive to build that strength to be able to do it a little bit better each time. So I know where I struggle, but I don't allow it to keep me from pressing on and trying again and teaching, instructing, because I could easily say that, I can't do all of these things. What am I doing as an instructor? You don't have to be able to do it all in order to instruct. And that is, I think, important as well. I think that, to be able to go into a class and maybe see an instructor that doesn't look like the prototype, it can also be encouraging to people and welcoming to people as well. Um, Flexibility. Maybe there's a preconceived idea that you have a certain level of flexibility if you're practicing yoga. And to a certain extent, yes, there is a lot of flexibility in yoga, but there's also a lot of things that, are built through time. You don't go into your first class and come out a rubber band. It doesn't work like that. You have to practice. There are areas of the body for me that I'm not as flexible in, and I have to work at that, just like my upper body strength. Maybe, the tightness in the hamstrings causes some issues with me when it comes to certain poses and flexibility. So I work at that. I only do it to the degree that my body allows me to. Even as an instructor, I know when I need to stop, back off, and be done with that pose. Maybe my student can get further into that pose than I can, and that's awesome. A lot of times that will happen, and I will encourage the class to, maybe look at that version of the pose that we're doing, because, this is somebody that's getting a little bit deeper into the pose than I am. And that's okay. So, being able to allow yourself the grace that you need in order to, come into the classroom and be surrounded by different people of different skill levels and of different flexibilities and different strengths. You have to give yourself grace and know that it's okay that you are where you are, and you are there for a reason. You're supposed to be there. You are supposed to be there. So those are some misconceptions about yoga that I want to, kind of dispel. Also, another thing that I hear from people is that, I don't want to do yoga. I don't care about meditation. I'm not interested in that. Well, awesome, because yoga is not meditation. So come on in, because we aren't in here, meditating. Yoga has an element of meditation to it. So, I think, again, you see some things on TV or whatnot, and you're looking and you see somebody in their easy pose, and they're talking about, this is yoga, and they're, in their Zen spot, and they're oming and chanting and calling that yoga, and that is not the typical yoga class. Yes, we do have some elements of meditation in yoga. In the beginning of our classes, we begin, with warm-ups, with, bringing our mind and body and soul together into our class, and sometimes that involves a little bit of meditative preparation before we begin our yoga class. At the end of our class, we will have some elements of meditation through our final relaxation. Some teachers don't, or instructors don't do that in their classes. Some instructors do bring that element into their class, but it is not the entire practice. So, if you don't care for meditation, then we have, encourage you to come in, because they're not going to be, it's not a meditation. If you do want some meditation, then come on in, because there is going to be some meditation involved for you as well. And I think that, again, having a preconceived idea of what a yoga class is going to be like, we need to just kind of get rid of that. One step at a time, one thing at a time. I think that this is the perfect opportunity for people who have not experienced yoga to kind of get an idea of what, to expect, what not to expect. And if you have questions, this is your chance to reach out, send a message, ask your questions, be happy to address whatever specific poses that you want to focus on, whatever questions that you still feel need to be answered. These series of informative sessions are going to continue, as well as learning some poses. Going into the next video, we will start to talk about, basic poses, how to do them safely, and, incorporating some other things with that as well. So feel free to reach out with your questions and concerns. I can't wait to see you all again with the next video, and be prepared to come in and use your breathing and your resting poses and leave your expectations at the door, and we will meet each other just where we are. Thank you, and always remember that we can accomplish more together than we can apart. Namaste.